Hello again, folks. This is Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. And today's video is not going to be demonstrating a customer's completed conversion. Instead, it's going to be bragging a little bit about my background and some of the things I do to make myself as professional as possible. See if we can zoom out a little bit more on this. First of all, right in front of me here, we've got 4 LCD type oscilloscopes. Those are used only for the most part for precise head adjustment. Right up to the 4-channel tape decks, I can monitor my head adjustment on the screens of all 4 of these oscilloscopes. Zoom a little bit back further and you can see some more fancy gear I got up top here. But that's not the focus of today's video. What I'm going to be doing today is showing a new test fixture that I've created, and this is from my experience working at several factories, including an avionics factory, which was absolute top-notch high-end stuff at Cobham Aerospace. And this is what you see here is the type of fixture you see in virtually every electronic factory. This is just a standard test fixture, and there's always the need to test something in my line of work. If I suspect that there might be a problem on, for instance, a conversion module, which is this is the type of module that I use and that almost all shops use for FM radio conversions. Well, if I wanted to test this module out, and not even, if I suspect the module might be bad, but if I want to make sure that a radio's tuner is going to be compatible with the module before I tear the doggone thing apart, I've got this little test fixture that I've built, and this is exactly what you'll find in electronics factories. I've actually built a few of these for the factories I worked in, and let's zoom in a little bit closer on these. And what you see here is a number of spring-loaded pins. You can see you can push these pins down and they spring back up. These are called pogo pins. That's the most popular name for them, and they make them in different sizes. And what I've done here is I've made a test fixture that I can test conversion modules with, and also quickly hook a conversion module up to it simply by pressing it down against the pins. Now, if I was going to connect one of these conversion modules up, the absolute minimum number of connections for most radios would be around 20, with a lot of radios requiring up to 30 or even 35 connections when you count the aux inputs and all the features that are available. Extender boards like the Bluetooth and USB could even be up to 40 connections. So you can either sit here and solder 40 wires in place and then have to unsolder them again, or you can just make one of these. And I've partially wired this. This is going to plug into my bench power supply and speaker, just one plug there, and then this board simply once I get all the pins connected to the right wiring, this board will simply just rest right on top of it, just like that. And as you can see, all these pins make connections on different points of the board. So can we go a little bit closer on that? Not really. So anyway, that's and then of course there needs to be some kind of apparatus to push the board down on these pins, which you can see, I'm able to push down on the pins here. And so that'll be most likely a combination of screws we've already got screw holes on the heatsink that we can just push a few screws into. And then for the front, I've ordered a clear piece of a 1/4-inch acrylic. Once I get this board down, I just slide the piece of acrylic in between 2 hold down brackets, and that holds the board down so it makes a firm contact with the fixture, and it's just going to save a tremendous amount of time, especially with the volume I do, being the most popular, at least based on website traffic, being the world's most popular classic car radio and 8-track repair facility. I need to come up with any way I can to save time, and this is just going to save tremendous amounts of time when I go to test a conversion module, or if I want to try a conversion module with a certain type of radio that I haven't done before. If there needs to be any adjustments to the radio, I'll be able to do that before I go to the trouble of soldering, some 30-40 wires and having to unsolder them again. So that's just a quick little. I pride myself on my willingness to do everything as professionally as possible, right up to factory level, based on my experience in factories. And so this is just one of those things. This is something that very few shops are going to have, if any of them, because you pretty much have to work in factories to be around these things and even know they exist. But so this is my little thing that I made with pogo pins. Here's the little bit of wiring I've done on them. I've wired up the speaker and power to this standard connector here, and then these pins will be connected to the controls, tuner, and switches, and all that stuff. And that way, I can run the radio and the module through a full test in a matter of maybe 2 minutes, instead of taking possibly up to an hour or even 2 hours soldering everything in place and realizing I have to tear it all back out. So this is going to save me just tremendous amounts of time, and it's something that will eventually reduce my turn times by saving me so much time per job. So that was just another thing. When I get the unit completely finished and wired, I will most likely attach it to just a standard radio that already has the controls and tuner assembly, and this thing will just fit right on top of that radio, and I'll mount it in place, and then I'll have a nice little complete test fixture that I can use for testing conversion modules and the radios they go into, and ensure maximum compatibility before I commit to soldering everything in and putting everything together. And this way I won't have to keep taking things apart to try something that's not working just right. So, on that happy note, this is Barry with Barry's 8-track and classic car radio repair. If you have an 8-track player either for home or for car use in need of service, you can reach me directly at 928-533-9666. Needless to say, if you have a classic car AM radio or even an existing AM/FM radio that you would like to add a lot more output power to, with the additional possibilities of Bluetooth, USB reader, aux input, and God only knows what else I'm going to come up with. I've already come up with a way to double the number of FM station presets on a lot of Delco radios that no other shops have come up with. It's not really an invention I made, it's just a discovery I made that other shops have not discovered yet. So, on that happy note, you can visit my website. It's extremely informative. It's in the description below. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Having fun, driving my classic ride. Got a Mustang, buddy, it's a 69, but she ain't sounding so fine. Driving this car, I can't hear the guitar, and all my tapes run slow too. Radio smoking, 8-track deck's broken. What can I do? Send it to 8-track repair center. 8-track repair center. 8-track repair center.com.